What up? It's your boy, the Incredible Man, and yes, I am back at it again. And this is BOFURI. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max up my defenses. Episode 10, man. And I realized that we're coming close to the end of this wonderful journey with Maple and Maple Tree. But this episode, and I'm a little devastated, but this episode was absolutely another glorious episode, man. Oh boy, man, we only got 2 more episodes, and that is it for this season. But, man, oh boy. You guys know when you watch that one anime, well, I got multiple anime that I feel this way about, but when you watch that one anime and the season ends, and you like, man, I don't want it to end, because each and every episode of this anime is always something new, fresh, and fun and glorious to live and enjoy with Maple and Maple Tree, man. It is absolutely wonderful. Excuse the train, man. The guild itself consists of all these wonderful, glorious people, and everybody brings their own certain pizzazz to the team. And with this episode, we see everybody actually really contributing to the guild wars, and I love that. We see everybody. We see Kanade going out to get orbs to help with Sally, because Sally's the only one that's been gathering orbs, and she's a little burnt out, which also came into contact this episode because we see some members of the Holy Sword. They surrounded her in a mass amount of numbers, and Sally was almost done for, but that's because she was so tired and exhausted from going out and gathering orbs. But then we also learned that another reason why she was so tired was because she wasn't only just gathering orbs. Sally was also mapping everywhere where all of the guilds were, so she can have a map, and so they have another plan to initiate, which is having Maple go out and attack people, because Maple's so OP that it really doesn't matter. She doesn't have to sneak the way that Sally did to try to gather orbs. They sent Maple out in plan B to just model up all of these other people. But Sally, come on, man. I mean, we know Sally is you might as well say it. Sally's a professional gamer. She has all of these awards and plaques and everything. And I never give her enough credit. Like, when she does something phenomenal on screen, I always give her the credit. But I never really quite give Sally her credit the way that I do Maple. And I apologize for that, Sally, because it showed this episode. She went ham, and for her to map out the whole area for the Guild Wars, and also it came into play with her lying to Frederica about her powers. Come on, man. It really showed. I was giving more credit to Frederica and the Holy Sword people, but this episode, they just showed that they can't touch Maple. They can't touch Maple Tree at all, man. The only one I feel like that may be able to really kind of do something is the leader of the Holy Sword, which is the dude, the knight dude with the gold hair and the blue armor that we see at the beginning of this episode, where he's running around. He's doing that, pretty much everything that Maple would do when she was fighting these other people. And he gathered 20 to 30 orbs by himself without even using any skills. He just straight was jumping up and moving and maneuvering and started hacking and slicing people. So you got to give him his credit as well. I knew he was good because he's the #1 player in the game. But still, to see him have that kind of level of skill, okay, I understand now. I see why he's #1 in the game. But I still like, he ain't gonna have nothing for my girl Maple, man. But Maple is coming through like a boss. But it was nice to see everybody participate this episode. Everybody kind of had that little, they didn't really need a redeeming moment, but they all got it. We got Sally with her lying to Frederica about her powers and just mollywopping a mass amount of numbers of their troops. Maple swooping in with her powers to come save Sally and take out a massive number of the Holy Sword's troops. Kanade going out to gather orbs to help Sally. Mai and Yui guarding the base from the #2 player, I can't think of his name, the assassin guy. They were putting in work until like right there at the end, and Maple had to come save them as well. But they had a moment. We had Kasumi having her thing, and Chrome. Well, not Chrome. What is Kuramo, however you want to say his name. He had his moment. Iz had her moment. Everybody had a moment from Maple Tree, and I really enjoyed that because this is actually really the first time that we've seen everybody really step out on in that kind of capacity. Everybody had something involved with protecting the guild and doing something for the guild. But we also learned this episode that the AOE power that Maple has when she becomes the Archangel, all other attacks are nullified, but what is it? Is it throwing or piercing? Piercing attacks, like with physical weapons, I'm assuming, can pierce that little whole bubble or whatever in that with the AOE power. Any other attack, magic or any other thing like that, doesn't really affect it. But I'm assuming that because we see the number 2 guy throw his dagger at her and it pierces and it hits Syrup and it pierces the little protection bubble, and Maple receives the damage. So now we also learned that she can be harmed within this circle, but it's only from piercing attacks. So now we kind of got to be a little careful about that when we decide to take on the leader of the Holy Sword. What else happened? Oh, then we get to the highlight of the episode after we see Maple kind of just molly whopping everybody else. We got to see Kasumi also go ham against the dude from the split sword technique or whatever, but he's also a part of the Flame Empress guild. Now, one thing I really wanted to touch on and mention was that I guarantee you, I feel like all of these people kind of set all of this in motion to attack Maple Tree. I feel like it's all set up in motion, and and for some reason, everybody pretty much had to use all of their special moves. Maple didn't use all of hers, but everybody else pretty much had to use all of theirs, and I feel like that was set up because somebody set it all in motion so they can have an understanding of all of Maple Tree's powers. I feel like that's what's definitely going to happen in one of the 2 next episodes. They're going to be like, oh, well, we know all of your guys' attacks, and then Maple's going to come out with something brand spanking new that they haven't seen or something. But then we get to the highlight of the episode, and we see Maple and Mai and Yui charging in, taking over all of these other guilds to steal their orbs, which is part of Plan B. And they get to the Flame Empress's camp, and we knew that her third or second in command set up these traps, but they didn't affect Maple at all. She's just walking through it like it was nothing, And then he had some physical attacks to kind of try to hold her in place. But that's where Mai and Yui came in. They came in like they were mowing grass with their war hammers. They were just pop, 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 just demolishing it. And they were like, okay, well, we were trying to hold her off until old girl came and was like, well, this is not working. So what do we do now? And just in the nick of time, old girl showed up. But and now, don't get me wrong, she's good and she's a guild leader in her own right. But I feel like she thinks that she has an upper hand as of right now. And I feel like she may for a moment, because Mai and Yui are definitely going to have to fight on their own for a moment against her, number 2 and number 3. And Maple's going to have to battle on her own. But I cannot wait for it to happen. I really want to see it because it's a fight between guild masters, and that's going to be epic, man. This episode really didn't have a lot going on. Like there was a lot going on, but like not I kind of want to say story progression, kind of, because it progressed the story, but like it was just a lot of action this episode. There wasn't anything that we needed to know major in any capacity. It was just very simple, and it was pretty much an all-out brawl. And I am ready for them to fight the Holy Sword, man. But that's everything that happened this episode, man. This is your boy, Dick Incredible. Don't forget to smash that like button till you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them and subscribe. But only if you really want to, man. And remember that anime matters, anime is greatness, and anime is life, man. Peace out.
Are we gonna play now? Ready for the show? I'm about to take down, you already know. Get the fuck out of my face now, yeah, you got it.